have a little more work to do.
That's not my problem, is it?
Some How to Train Your Dragon villains needed armies, some needed dragons, and one of them nearly conquered the entire world. Today, we're ranking the most powerful villains Hiccup ever faced, Savage. Let's talk about the one who truly doesn't get much respect, and honestly, it's understandable. Savage is Alvin the Treacherous's loyal right-hand man, and he often finds himself being shouted at, overlooked, threatened, or even used as a punching bag by those above him. By all standards, he's really a sidekick. Rewatch the episode where he takes a direct hit from a Gronko lava blast. A normal human turns into ash. Savage? He gets annoyed. He shakes it off like a wet dog and keeps charging. That's not durability. That's cartoon physics as a superpower. He also single-handedly flips a small boat by leaning on it the wrong way. His physicality is so absurd that he becomes a natural disaster. You can't reason with a rock slide or with a tree trunk wearing a helmet. He's too stupid to know when he's beaten, and that makes him unbeatable in a fistfight. Here's an interesting take on Savage. His true strength isn't his mind, but his unwavering loyalty. In a world where backstabbers are everywhere, Savage's knack for attaching himself to a stronger personality and becoming an unstoppable extension of their will is truly formidable. He doesn't require any fancy plans, just someone to lead him, and he's all in. That makes him a powerful force enhancer. Whether it's Alvin or Dagger, they become twice as dangerous because Savage will gladly take a dozen arrows just to buy them a precious moment of safety. He's like a boomerang, but instead of coming back to you, he comes back to your worst day.
You know it's going to keep doing that, right? It is a whispering death.
Riker Grimborn.
Oh, I'm afraid the chain and the winch are both dragon-proof this time.
Riker is the older brother who never grew out of the "I'm taller, so I win" phase. He has the emotional range of a half-brick and the leadership style of a screaming sergeant major. Watching Riker try to be cunning is like watching a bear try to pick a lock. Eventually, he just gets mad and breaks the door. He's not a villain, he's a mid-level manager with a dragon ship and anger issues. If Vigo is the brain, Riker is the extremely loud, clumsy muscle that keeps knocking over the furniture. Look at the scene where he captures Hiccup not through a trap, but by simply throwing a net over him after a brutal chase. No trick, no puzzle, just raw manpower. But the real moment, he threatens to feed his own brother to a dragon during a disagreement. That casual cruelty is the point. Riker's power is the ability to turn any situation into a brute force equation. He doesn't need a clever escape plan because he'll just punch through the wall. In the Dragon Hunter hierarchy, Riker is the hammer.
This is becoming all too familiar, brother. Forgive my brother. He doesn't understand the concept of savoring victory.
Everything looks like a nail, and he swings hard. That level of physical dominance makes him a nightmare because you can't distract him with riddles. He listens to the crunch of breaking wood. Basically, Riker doesn't need pep talks. His eyebrows do all the motivating. His power is physical intimidation backed by absolute command over hunters. He outmuscles you. He creates a climate of fear where his subordinates are more scared of him than of the dragons they're hunting. That's a specific kind of authority. He's the guy who will break your oars, throw you overboard, and then ask who's volunteering for the next shift. You obey Riker because his biceps have their own zip code. Krogan. He walks around like he's got a permanent stick up his armor. He's the guy who brings a full military briefing to a fight.
Our defenses will be fortified, and with all of Burke as our bargaining chip, we'll get anything we want.
Everything is tactics, formations, and by the book. He has zero charisma, zero fun, and the smile of a tax auditor. If villains had Yelp reviews, Krogan would get 2 stars. Effective but painfully dry. Would not recommend for banter. He's the kind of villain who probably color codes his dragon cages. The battle at the volcano. He uses coordinated dragonflyer attacks, dive bombs, flanking maneuvers, retreat and ambush cycles. He treats flying dragons like fighter jets. At one point, he forces Hiccup into a defensive spiral not by being faster, but by cutting off every escape route simultaneously. He also commands the flyers with hand signals so precisely that they react faster than Burke's riders. Krogan's power is the industrialization of dragon combat. He turned a chaotic sky fight into a grim math problem. And math, unfortunately, doesn't care about heroics. Don't let the boring demeanor fool you. Krogan's power lies specifically in military forces. He's the only villain who understands logistics. He wants an air force. He controls dragon flyers like a chess grandmaster controls pawns. While other villains chase one dragon, Krogan thinks in squadrons. His power is scalability. He can lose 10 battles but still win the war because he has supply lines and backup plans.
Enjoy your remaining days. We will do what we set out to do.
Alvin the Treacherous. Alvin looks like a potato that grew hair and a grudge.
Tell me who the Dragon Conqueror is, and you can all go free.
But Conqueror, come on!
He's got that used villain salesman energy. Slightly greasy, always smiling, and definitely hiding a knife behind his back. You never trust Alvin, but you also can't stop listening to him because he talks like he knows where the bodies are buried. Watch the episodes where he manipulates everyone from the Berserkers to the Dragon Riders. Alvin doesn't always need to raise his voice or draw a weapon to cause chaos. He plants doubt, pits factions against each other, and creates a narrative in which siding with him feels like the only safe move.
Hey, is the sword really necessary?
Odin's ghost.
Even when Dagger outmaneuvers him for control of the outcast, Alvin plays the long game, eventually using social engineering to regain his chiefdom and rewrite his legacy. Physical strength means nothing to Alvin because he'll just convince your allies to shift their allegiances. He's the reason the phrase "keep your enemies close" exists. You can't punch your way out of a conversation with Alvin, and that's his victory condition. His power lies in manipulation and in leading outcasts. Alvin runs the outcasts. That means he's a king of people nobody else wanted. His power comes from giving misfits a home, then pointing them at his enemies. He's the only villain who can turn a loss into a political victory. Lose a battle? He'll spin it as a strategic retreat. Get betrayed? He'll make the betrayer feel guilty.
Impressive. You might want to cut back its water.
Boy, write that down.
Trader Johann. Oh, Johann, you glorious, annoying, fake stuttering piece of work. For years, we thought you were just a comic relief merchant who sold useless junk and got seasick. Then the mask came off, and we realized we'd been played like a cheap loot. He's basically the world's most adorable spy, like James Bond if he sold hotcakes instead of martinis. The reveal scene, when Johann finally stops stammering and speaks in a cold, clear voice. He lists every secret Hiccup ever told him, every location, every fear, every failed experiment. He didn't steal that information. Hiccup gave it to him freely over dinner conversations. Johann's power is weaponized friendship. He turns your trust into your handcuffs. Also, he single-handedly cripples the Dragon Riders not with an army, but by cutting off their supplies. He knew exactly which ropes to sever because he had loaded those ropes onto his ship years ago. That level of preparation is broken. You can't fight what you didn't know was an enemy. What makes Johann dangerous isn't strength, it's information. Johann didn't just betray the team, he built his betrayal brick by brick over the years. He collected secrets, mapped weaknesses, and learned exactly which emotional buttons to push. He's not a fighter, he's an information broker who decided to become a warlord for fun. The scariest part? He enjoyed it. He loved watching Hiccup trust him. That's sociopathic levels of patience.
My poor heart will surely not withstand any more of these harrowing moments.
Dagger the Deranged. The thing about Dagger is that he's fun. Like, genuinely entertaining in a way that makes you almost forget he's trying to kill everyone.
I am thinking. This is my thinking face.
He talks too much, laughs at the wrong moments, has absolutely no filter between whatever thought enters his head and his mouth, and approaches violence with the enthusiasm of someone who just discovered their new favorite hobby. The first time he captures Hiccup, instead of killing him, Dagger decides they're best friends now. He throws a party, he shares a meal, he laughs. Then, 5 minutes later, he threatens to feed Hiccup to a dragon. His mood flips so fast it gives the audience whiplash. Later, when he eventually reforms and joins the good guys, he becomes the most dangerous ally imaginable because he fights with the same chaos, just aimed at the bad guys. In the battle against Krogan, Dagger jumps onto a dragon's back mid-flight with zero plan. It works. That's the problem. When unpredictability works, it's overpowered. You can't train against a guy who forgets the rules halfway through the fight. Dagger's mood swings could probably power a small windmill. For better or worse, you never know which. Dagger's greatest weapon is chaos.
You are so weird.
Most villains follow logic. Dagger follows impulse. That makes him impossible to counter because he doesn't even know what he's doing next. In combat, chaos is a force multiplier, a predictable enemy you can trap. Dagger, he'll run through your trap, set off 3 more by accident, and then headbutt your general because he felt like it. You can't plan against the random.
It's important to keep the mind sharp.
Red Death. She doesn't have a personality. She's a fat, fire-breathing mountain with wings and a bad attitude.
It's working! Yeah, it's working!
She's the final boss of Sit Down and Shut Up. If she had a voice line, it would just be a burp. She's a natural disaster that decided to grow scales and a superiority complex. Calling her a villain feels generous. She's more of a geological event with teeth. The final battle. She takes direct explosion to the face. She shrugs off catapult fire like it's rain. She breathes a fireball that's wider than a house. And the killing move? She creates a shockwave just by landing. Hiccup wins not by overpowering her, but by tricking her into destroying herself. That's the definition of overpowered. The hero can't win in a straight fight. He has to make the villain beat herself. The Red Death represents a ceiling in dragon combat. She's the reason Hiccup realized he needed brains, not brawn. Nobody in the franchise wins through sheer force the way she does. She sits in a volcano and demands tribute. Every dragon in the nest is her slave, not her subject. That's a different level of control. She doesn't need intelligence or strategy because she can just land on your village and flatten it. She's one of the few villains that simply can't be negotiated with, bargained with, or tricked easily because her solution to everything is crush. But all these villains still had one weakness. They could be outsmarted. The next villain is the reason Hiccup stopped assuming he was the smartest guy in the room. Vigo Grimborn. Every protagonist needs a villain who forces them to grow. For Hiccup, that villain is Vigo. Not because Vigo is the strongest or the most emotionally devastating person, but because he is, functionally, the smartest person in any room he enters, and he knows it without being obnoxious about it. The multiple times he lets Hiccup win a minor victory just to secure a major objective.
You know, Hiccup, when your opponent presents you with the opportunity to wipe out all of his pieces at once, it is the cunning player who seizes the moment.
Classic Vigo move, sacrifice a ship to capture the Dragon Eye. He's playing the long game, but the ultimate proof? The auction scene where he doesn't even show up. He sends a decoy and the real Vigo is already 3 steps ahead, stealing everything while the heroes are distracted. He figures out Toothless's plasma blast, cooldown after studying him in battle. Vigo's power is turning your strength into your weaknesses.
Only then will we reclaim the seas and shores that by all rights belong to us.
He's too smart for his own good, and that makes him the most dangerous human villain in the series. You can't surprise someone who expects everything. Vigo turns intelligence into a weapon. He treats every encounter as a puzzle, and Hiccup is the variable. He's the only villain who actually gets better every time he loses because he studies his defeats. His power isn't brute force, it's learning speed. He adapts faster than anyone else. You beat him with a trick, he'll use that same trick against you next week and improve it.
I must insist that you return it to where it belongs, with me.
Grimmel the Grizzly. The Hidden World introduces Grimmel, and the movie frames him as the apex of the franchise's villain lineup.
That does sound like a nuisance. But I'm in the business of killing dragons, not retrieving them.
In terms of sheer capability, that's a defensible position. According to Grimmel, he hunted Night Furies so relentlessly that Toothless was believed to be the last one left. Let that sink in. This guy systematically wiped out the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself through sheer cold calculation. The Death Gripper Venom Control. Grimmel doesn't tame dragons. He chemically lobotomizes them. He turns the most dangerous species into obedient drones. That's terrifying. But the specific moment? When he shows up at Newburgh and doesn't attack. He just talks. He explains exactly how he'll win. He lists Hiccup's failures. He's already won the mental battle before swinging a sword, and the trap with the hidden cages in the hidden world. He predicted every move Hiccup would make. Grimmel's power is being right. He's rarely wrong about how people behave. That makes him a nightmare because you can't outrun a perfect prediction. You can only hope he miscalculates, and he rarely does. Grimmel wins the fight before they even begin. He studies his prey for years before making a move. He also understands dragons better than anyone except Hiccup, but he uses that knowledge for extinction, not friendship. His real weapon is fear. He wants Hiccup to watch and feel powerless, and then we get to the villain who did something nobody else managed to do. Drago Bludvist.
Let me show you.
Here's the thing about Drago that gets undersold. He actually defeats Hiccup. In the second movie, with Hiccup at his most capable and most prepared, with Toothless right there, with his father and a whole army of dragons on his side, Drago wins. He takes everything. He turns Toothless against Hiccup. He kills Stoic. He takes control of every dragon through the Bewildered Beast. And he does it all while barely breaking a sweat. Hundreds of dragons turn against their riders instantly. But the real defining moment? When he captures Hiccup and says, "You have no power over me." He means it. He can't be shamed, reasoned with, or threatened because he's built his entire identity on being the thing everyone fears. Drago's power is emotional immunity wrapped in a glacier of violence. You can't trick a man who doesn't care about anything except domination. He's the wall that heroism breaks against, and he only loses because Toothless unleashes a glowing alpha state, breaking the Bewildered Beast's psychological hold through the sheer weight of his bond with Hiccup. It's the ultimate thematic payoff. Drago's empire of forced fear crumbles the second it faces true, unforced loyalty. Everything about Drago's empire runs on fear. He raised his dark Bewildered Beast to be a ruthless weapon of war, using it to challenge and ultimately defeat Valka's Bewildered Beast. That's the key difference between him and Valka. Drago's philosophy is simple: fear makes loyalty. He's a tyrant who understands that a scared army follows orders without question. His power isn't tactical, it's psychological warfare on a continental scale. What's scary is that Hiccup didn't beat most of these villains because he was stronger. He beat them because he was smarter. But if we're talking pure power, I still don't know how anyone was supposed to stop Drago. Let me know who you think was the most dangerous villain in How to Train Your Dragon down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the next video on your screen.